I first wanted to thank everyone who contributed data to the first video that I made in this series where I asked for people who had herpes to share some of their experiences and information. So based on that, I need to now form a control group. Based on the answers people wrote, what they told us, there's some obvious themes running through people who have the herpes. So now what I need to do, I need to create a control group to make sure that these themes are accurate, so we can get a clear picture of what may be going on, psychologically and health-wise and, emotionally wise and etc. with people who have managed to catch herpes. So, for this, I need people to participate who have had the opportunity to get herpes, which means they've been at risk with it by having a sexual partner who had herpes, okay? But that they didn't actually get it. Now, there's the idea that you can't get herpes unless the person has an eruption. Well, that's not completely true. The chance is very minimized, but people have gotten herpes from people who don't have eruptions. So that's not 100% proved. So even if you've had sex with someone who had herpes and they did have an eruption, and as long as you didn't get herpes, as long as you didn't catch it, then you can participate in this. So I simply need people who've been at risk with herpes because they've had sex with someone who had herpes, and yet they didn't get it. Okay? Now, if you just had sex once with the person and they didn't have an eruption, you never had sex with them again, that's not good enough. I mean, you had a partnership, which means you had sex with them a few times at least, but you didn't get herpes. Okay? If you fill that, then I need your data, okay, to finish this experiment. And so if you qualify and you've been at risk, then we want you to answer these few questions. Question 1 is, did you have sex with a sexual partner who had herpes during unusually stressful and trying times in your life? Yes or no? So was it a tough time in your life where you're going through something? Okay? If so, answer yes, otherwise no. And for all the questions, just yes, no for most of them is all we ask. And you can just copy the questions down, which I'll put beneath this video, put it in an email, highlight yes or no, and you're done. Okay? Question 2. Were you happy in your relationship with the sexual partner who had herpes when you had sex with them? Yes or no? Then question 3. Were you physically healthy or unhealthy during the period you had sex with the partner that had herpes? Either healthy or unhealthy. Then question 4 is about, and the rest of the questions are largely about your background. Was sex condemned in your environment when you were growing up? Which means, was it talked about as a negative thing? It's evil. It's, sex without marriage is evil. You'll go to hell if you have sex, anything derogatory, negative connotations about sex. If so, answer yes. Question 5. Was sex spoken as an act of love when you were growing up? So, spoken of as a healthy, natural expression of love between two people who care for each other, respect each other, treat each other well, and connect on another level through sex. So was it like anything along those lines? If so, answer yes. Question 6. Was sex an unspoken subject in your family? So was it just not talked about? You just didn't talk about it, okay? It didn't go there. Answer yes or no. Question 7 is, was sex spoken of as physically pleasurable experience in your early life? So were there people around your parents, whatever, who talked about sex as, yeah, sex is wonderful, it feels great, it's fun, it's the funniest thing you can do. Anything along these lines that sex is fun, sex is pleasurable. And again, that's different from sex is an act of love. Okay, these are two different things, which was the previous question. So again, yes or no as to if it was talked about as a physically pleasurable experience. Then question 8 is, was sex spoken of relevant to its power over the opposite gender? So did you hear things that, the only way to get men to do what they want is to have sex with them, or the only way to make a woman love you is to have sex with her? Anything like, okay, you have an influence over a person, a hold, a power, you can get them to do what you want, sex is a weapon, sex is the only thing that people respect, anything along those lines, you would want to answer yes to this question. Question 9, and of course, you may have had a mix of those, and if you had a mix, answer yes to several of those. It's fine. Question 9 is, were you ever sexually abused in any years prior to having sex with the sexual partner who had herpes? So if you were sexually abused as a child, had sex with someone at 30 who had herpes, and you didn't get herpes from them, then that counts as sexual abuse before having sex with the herpes person. If at 29 you got sexually abused and you had sex with the herpes person at 30, you also answer yes to this. So if any time in your past you had suffered sexual abuse before you had sex with the herpes person, answer yes to this question. Okay? So by answering these questions, we'll get the data we need to see, how many of these factors are actually contributing to a mentality and therefore an energy, of the person's body that allows them to have a higher chance of contracting herpes. Okay? All right, thank you very much if you participate, and hopefully soon I'll get enough data to finish this. And then I'll have a third video where I talk about what, kind of parallels we actually discover. Okay, thank you.